afternoon from here in Madrid. This is Drew.
Good afternoon, bro. Coming at you from the morning in Detroit, Wednesday morning. How's it going?
Not too bad. A little Wednesday, May 25th here on the Pass First Hoops Cast. How are you feeling?
Yes, sir. I'm feeling a little tired after last night's Russ Westbrook showdown.
Quick shout out to Russ and KD and the rest of the Thunder, just out for blood.
Damn, man. Those boys playing really good basketball right now all around.
3-1 Thunder, and we'll see what happened tomorrow here. But for today, another episode of this little series we've started here on the Pass First Hoops Cast.
Little 14 minutes of
Baynes don't die. 14 minutes of Aron.
Yes, sir. Aron Baynes, our boy, the big fella.
Let's hop right in. Are you ready?
I've been ready for this since the day we came on.
Starting the clock here, 14 minutes of Aron. Let's hop in. Who is Aron Baynes? 6'10", 260 pounds, sometimes goes by the Banger.
I love that. What a nickname.
Many nicknames for the 29-year-old, born December 9th and signed with us, the Pistons, last summer, 3 years, $19.5 million.
Another thing of beauty.
A thing of beauty, so he's making $6.5 million a year, and the third year of his contract is a player option.
Nice for Aron.
Out of Queensland, Australia, down under, right on the Coral Sea there, so he was on the coast growing up.
One of those boomers.
One of the boomers, one of seven.
A lot of good ones out there.
He graduated high school at age 17, and then, did you read anything about this Australian Institute of Sport at all?
I did. It's one of my favorite things. Not like in the episode, but one of my favorite things overall. One of my high school obsessions is actually this high school.
Okay, so you are familiar with this.
I am. I'm actually very familiar with it. It really produces a lot of athletes, not only in basketball, just sports-wide.
All athletes go there, but for basketball in particular, they take about 12 kids, in Aron's case, after he graduated high school, but a lot of times right in the middle of high school.
Yeah, timing kind of more in the middle, but yeah, Aron a little later.
Aron a little later, and
little bit. That's kind of how his whole career has been almost.
Yeah, a late bloomer. He didn't even get into basketball till he was a teenager.
I know, isn't that wild? He's a rugby guy.
Yeah, he was always rugby, and then the story goes, actually, that he saw some Tim Duncan highlights.
Yeah, I read that Timmy was his big guy growing up.
Timmy was his favorite player, and as a teen, I guess he saw some Tim Duncan highlights and went on the internet and bought a pair of reversible Spurs shorts.
To then go on the squad with Tim, that's wild.
I know, right? It must have been a dream come true.
A dream come true, yeah. His brother was also a professional player, and I guess that, once his brother got into it, he always wanted to do what Big Bro does, so that was kind of his cue to jump onto the basketball court.
Yeah, to start so late, you see this with a lot of the guys from the African countries, but for an Australian to start late and then work his way up, pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Kind of sounds like the family hoops. His wife's brother is actually an Australian professional basketball player as well.
No kidding.
I know, isn't that crazy? The family just probably goes out there on Thanksgiving and hoops.
Great conversations, getting all the perspectives, worldwide hoopers.
I guess this guy went undrafted in the 2014 draft or something, so he must be a name.
Okay.
I didn't recognize, but thought it was a pretty cool stat.
Based on Aron's route, having not gone to the NBA for 4 years after graduating college, maybe we could hear from this guy down the road.
I wouldn't be surprised, especially with teams like the Spurs out there, always with an eye out.
Right. He had his year at the Australian Institute of Sport.
Yep.
And then went to Washington State, played for Tony Bennett, who is now the coach at Virginia and definitely a big name in college hoops.
Definitely. He played with Kyle Weaver, if anyone remembers the name.
I remember the name Kyle Weaver, and Aron's senior year was played with Klay Thompson as a freshman.
I got that marked down as his number one teammate.
Yeah, probably. And with a great coach like Tony Bennett, he and Klay both averaged 13 points per game that year.
Yeah, Baynes really nice those last 2 years in college from a boarding and scoring standpoint.
Went undrafted in the 2009 draft and spent a couple years overseas.
You want to hear an interesting quote I took from Draft Express on Baynes?
Yes, I would love to.
It says, Baynes is likely a long shot for the NBA, as there are some very obvious question marks about how he'll fare against the more athletic and talented big men that the league is known for.
Huh.
Literally, he goes in there and just D's up and he could D a stretch 4 probably if he wanted to.
He moves really well, and that has come from learning. You know, when he first got to the Spurs, I was reading some Spurs blogs. They said he is a bruiser who picks up a lot of fouls.
Coming out of Washington State, they were like, that everything I read in draft stuff was like, this guy just fouls all the time. But like, yeah, you got to learn how to play D and think about going into the Spurs system. That'll put you into shape real quick.
Indeed, he definitely learned quickly over there.
I don't know, I guess that goes into one thing that I have here, and it's in that rookie year, he ended up starting that game 4 of the playoffs, and he was tasked with D'ing up Dwight Howard.
That was one of my favorite things, actually. Dwight was ejected in that game as the Lakers got swept in that awful season for them where they grabbed Nash and Kobe went down, but
just
Dwight
a tough go for LA back then. Yeah, I mean, Aaron played 16 minutes. He had 6 points, couple of rebounds, played hard on Dwight.
Dwight's second technical was while Baynes was D'ing him up, and he said something to the ref, and that was that. They were already down 21 early in the third quarter at that point.
That's just classic Aaron, going out there and doing what it takes and playing his role.
You need one of these guys on your team. But can we back up just really quick? I have a semi-stat boy for you.
Oh, go right ahead. I know we're shooting them around.
Before getting signed by the Spurs, he was on this Union Olimpija, which is a Slovenian team of the Adriatic League, good old Adriatic League.
Good league.
There's some NBA talent that has gone through that system, actually.
Absolutely, especially this team, right?
Guys that jumped out, Primoz Brezic, a former Piston.
Remember him? Absolutely.
Played on the Piston for 2 years. Beno Udrih.
Yes, sir, the lefty.
And Goran Dragic.
Another lefty.
That is a team that has competed and brought through some guys.
And Aaron, in his season there, tore it up, right? Really good numbers for that league.
Yeah, he was doing really well, and the Spurs bought him out in the middle of that season. They negotiated a buyout with that team, which I would love to just see that negotiating table. Spurs executives meeting with the Slovenians.
Wow. Just having an eye on Aaron. Aaron gets that call from the Spurs. He's like, wow, let's do it.
Of all teams, especially for him. That was January of 2013, and he spent that year and 2 more years with the Spurs, and then free agency hit for him last summer.
Yes, it did, and here came SVG.
Our signing was questioned a little bit. He's currently the 17th best paid center.
Something funny I wrote down was how Timmy D was his idol, and then he played with Timmy D, and now this year he's making more money than Timmy D.
Oh, man, how about that? He's getting paid. I mean, what he made this year alone outgained all of his years with the Spurs. But
you know what? To get the big contract and then jump onto the court and go hard and play his role, do that backup center gig that he does and so often come in and just... It's kind of impressive the way that he didn't maybe sit back a little bit. Sometimes when guys get the big money, that first season might be a little bit of a setback season almost.
Right. He was inspired, and I think the money motivated him in the opposite way, because I think listening to him talk, he seems like a conscious enough guy where, all right, I've got the money, I've got the stability, and now I'm just going to go do exactly what's needed.
Isn't that what we all want in life?
Yeah, he said we all saw what Stan Van Gundy was doing here and wanted to be a part of it.
For what he provides, as the backup center, his ability to knock down free throws, defend, his excellent touch around the basket, this contract looks amazing for us. Like, I would pay this 1,000,000 times over.
76% from the free throw line this year, backing up Andre. And watching the Thunder, even when they play their 2 bigs with Steven Adams and Enes Kanter. Kanter's a backup center, and he's one of the highest paid centers in the league. So where the contract numbers are going, this is great for us.
Seriously, his free throw shooting can't be talked about enough. Like, he's just money from the line.
I know.
I got a stat boy about the line, actually. 90 of 104 in his last season with the Spurs. That's, like, almost unheard of.
Yeah, for a big man, that's 90, what, 89%?
Holy crap. Jeez, that's insane.
Yeah. Any favorite things?
I got a little fun story about Baynes that I found. So, he lived on, like, 5 acres of land.
Yeah, spacious.
Out there. Yeah, and him and his brother found a tree, popped up a backboard, a hoop and whatnot, and mowed around the tree, and that's how they started playing hoop.
Do it themselves.
Going with it. Like, wanting to play basketball so bad and not even having it set up for them.
I know. I wonder what exactly was used as that hoop.
It's interesting to think about bouncing a ball on, like, a grass surface.
I know. A flat grass, like playing tennis on the grass surface. All right, I got one. He took the "Which Piston Are You" quiz, and he got Reggie Jackson, and then he tweeted about it.
I believe it. His Instagram name is actually one of my favorite Instagram names out there.
Shout him out.
House O'Bain.
House O'Bain. So many nicknames with a last name like that.
Seriously.
One of the things, if he has a big dunk in San Antonio, they called it getting baned.
Getting banged. I like it.
Like
the big banger.
Like past tense verbing the bane.
Yeah, they like to call him Bane, like the guy from Batman.
Anything else?
Oh, I posted up a little thing on the Instagram before this. My favorite Baines moment of the whole season.
Yes.
He was messing around with Ramon Sessions, who we called out numerous times on this podcast. We like him. He's a good player.
Would not mind him.
Yeah, and he's setting a screen at the top of the three-point line there for Steve-O Blake to pop a three. And Ramon and him get into it. It's like a little swing of the arms, flailing of the thing. It's pretty funny. The refs go and check the monitor for a flagrant foul. They end up calling the foul on Ramon, and we get another possession out of it. It's just classic Baines.
You see it with, quite honestly, these Australians, just kind of the way they play, and even Steven Adams, who's from New Zealand, they're in people's heads.
Oh, man, they play so hard. 100% all day.
All right, I got one. He named his son Mason after the Pistons announcer, John Mason.
Now that is probably our best of the day.
That's a joke. He didn't name it after the Pistons announcer, but he did have a son in August, and his name is Mason. So congratulations, Aaron.
Congratulations. And one thing that I forgot to mention is he's super smart. 2007 Pac-10 all academic first team. This guy knows his stuff.
He loves barbecue.
How could you not?
So I hope he makes it down to the D. He's in on Detroit. He had a great quote. He said, "When I get to downtown, it far exceeded my expectations. I definitely like the area there. You can tell there's a lot coming back into the city down there." So, he's got the kid and they're up in Auburn Hills, but I hope he makes it down to Detroit at least to check out Slows.
Yeah, thank you, Aaron. Definitely.
All right, one more each.
One more each. Go ahead.
Okay. He retweeted a Pistons thing from the Detroit Pistons account about how to sync the Pistons schedule with your calendar on your phone or on your computer, and I just love that.
That's awesome. He's supporting the squad.
Right. It is a business, and this is kind of the responsibility of players now, and that's something that people would need. He has a huge impact as a player and helping spread the word.
Yeah, he likes to give back. I guess that'll take us right into my last one. Him and Patty Mills, they're best boys. After they won the championship out there in San Antonio, they visited a bunch of cities in Australia with the Larry O'Brien Trophy, which is the championship trophy in the NBA, and they were just showing it off.
Yes.
What kid doesn't want to see that with people from their country? Exactly,
and basketball has been popular in Australia for a while, but now with some of these guys who are making it all the way, for kids to see that live up and in person is pretty cool.
Yeah, some big-time names like Ben Simmons, Dante Exum, young guys, too, that are coming up from Australia. Really good players.
Matthew Dellavedova, another one. Joe Ingles, great guy.
I love Ingles, yeah. Cameron Bairstow plays over in Chicago.
Luke Longley got it started back in the day with Chicago, so thank you, Australia.
I'll tell you, the Boomers, just like we talked about Canada, a lot of these younger, up-and-coming national teams are really fun, and just another thing we could always get into here.
Yeah, the Australian team, fourth in the 1996 and 2000 Olympics, and we'll see how they do in Rio this year with a lot more pro talent.
Absolutely. Some good bigs.
I know, they can just run them out there with Bogut stepping in as well.
Love the Bogut-Baines combo. Nathan Jawai, their third-string center, also played a little NBA time.
Another fun thing, NBA League Pass. It's most popular in the USA and then Canada and then Australia.
No way.
Yeah.
There's all these guys are kind of sprinkled all over the NBA, so you got to think they want to see them all play. They're probably really fired up right now to see Dellavedova out there with the Cavs.
Yeah, indeed. And that region, Oceania, with Steven Adams hopefully about to hit the NBA Finals.
A lot of love.
A lot of love. Dude, we went over a little bit.
I couldn't help myself. You could tell right off the bat that we were coming at you hards with Baines.
Lots to be excited about with just a quality person like Aron Baynes on our squad with Detroit.
He also brought that haircut to the city.
He brought the haircut. He asked for advice about what kind of haircut to get on his Instagram. We're all excited about Aron. All right, let's wrap it up. This has been Drew with the Pass First Hoops cast.
We're wrapping it up. This has been Pat.
Engage with us on Instagram, Pass First Hoops cast, Twitter, Pass First Hoops, and subscribe to us, iTunes, Stitcher, and the various outlets on Droid.
Enjoy it.
Signing off, talking about Aron Baynes. He's a real man, and he battles, says Kentavious Caldwell Pope.
Yes, he does. Peace out.
Check you later.